Hello, we're live. Hi, I'm Sheila Preston and I'm the founder of Thriving Facilitators, which supports heart-centered practitioners who work in community and educational settings. So tonight I'm speaking with Helena Enright, who's a member of Thriving Facilitators. So we're going to talk about Helena's work and why she is a member of Thriving Facilitators and what she gets out of it. So welcome, Helena. Good to see you.
Thank you. Yeah, you're slightly breaking up on me a little bit, so bear with while I'm trying. I try to translate. I don't know what's going on tonight with the Wi-Fi.
We've got signal issues, so we're going to do our best here.
Yeah, I can hear you now fine, so that's good.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so would you like to introduce yourself and tell us what you do, what your practice is?
Yeah, so my name is Helena, and I'm a lecturer in applied drama and theatre and social education in our social engagement in Bath University, and as a facilitator and practitioner, I make theatre using people's testimony. So from interviewing people about various experiences or issues in their lives, and kind of create theatre in that, and then and then I also work as a facilitator at times or facilitate community projects depending.
And what was it that you said, because Helena's been doing the imposter syndrome challenge, and you said on day one, what was it that you wanted to train to be? A kinesiologist, is that right?
Yes, I did. Over the last few years I trained kind of retrained as a kinesiologist, a systematic kinesiologist. So it's a holistic form of kind of alternative or complementary therapy that looks at the entire body from a kind of mental or emotional, physical, structural and energetic kind of way. So quite heart-centered in a way, actually, which has been really interesting. And I guess over the years studying acting and applied drama and all that, being kind of immersed in that field, I've been really interested in the mind-body connection, and more recently in the mind-body-spirit connection, and how that whole kind of what that whole thing is.
Yeah, great. And so just reflecting on, so you've got that work, that practice, you've got your work as a facilitator, artist, and then you've got your role as a lecturer. And I'm sure there are other people watching who share some of those roles. And I'm just thinking, what's your perception of the kinds of challenges that one faces in those roles?
Not enough time in the day to do all of them would be the biggest one. But actually, trying to show up authentically in each one has been quite interesting. Knowing that there's lots of overlaps and crossovers between those kind of roles, and navigating that path. I think also within the education system has been realizing that I'm a facilitator of learning at heart, and kind of trying to bring that role in the role of a facilitator more into my teaching kind of in higher education has been quite interesting and quite a journey over the last say 6 years since I took a role in Bath and have moved more in the direction of applied, and actually thinking that a lot of the young people coming into university now to study drama, often I feel kind of that first 6 months is almost like an applied set of workshops with them to build their confidence, to build their sense of themselves, their creativity, ground them a little bit, kind of is quite interesting. So that's been some of the challenges.
And so what kind of led you to join Thriving Facilitators?
First of all, I guess you, because I had quoted you and referred to you in my PhD, so I've always been interested in some of your kind of, I guess the ethos and the values underpinning some of your work and some of the thinking you were putting out there, and I've introduced it to my students as well in the Applied Theatre Pedagogies and Practices book. So when your name popped up, I thought, ooh. and also the idea of Thriving Facilitators, a network. When I came across, I think it popped up on my Facebook page or something. I can't even remember where it popped up. And oh no, I tell you what it was. It was, I think you might have given a talk at Central or something like that. And it popped, I'd seen it. Oh, that sounds interesting. Ooh, is it for me? I'm not facilitating out on my own as much. What would that be? But I'm on a kind of a personal growth journey over the last couple of years, and I'm investing in myself and my development and growth. So I thought, maybe I could do that. And I think I contacted you, and I think being out in the community for a number of years before I even went into academia, it's lonely being a facilitator in the applied kind of drama field as well. And I was just curious to meet other people, what it might be about, and to kind of, I felt I'd also been looking for supervision in a way that had been recommended to me over the last couple of years, and trying to find something that might kind of have that kind of play that role, which I didn't know whether it would or not. I was curious, to be honest, to see what it would be. Yeah.
And then you came in. So tell us about your tell us about your experience of being in the membership. I think you've been, is it about 4 months you've been a member?
Yeah, I think end of May, kind of around that time, June.
May, June, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Well, I guess, I've loved it. Absolutely loved it, and continue to love it. And it's been really interesting. I think there's lots of benefits to it. It is a network, and you are meeting people who are in similar and also different kind of areas of the kind of the whole field of facilitation, kind of in community facilitation and arts facilitation. There's a variety of different things to do within it, which is lovely, which you can also access at your own pace. I think at the beginning I was a little bit overwhelmed that there was so much I could be doing on the roadmap and all that, but actually as I settled into it and, kind of released one of my own patterns where I feel I have to do everything, and sat back with it, it's been quite nice to dip in when I've needed it. And it's been inspiring to hear some of the conversations we've had, the sharings people have had, and discover that, you're not alone in some of those kind of thoughts that you have, and some of the challenges of this type of work. And I think it's good to meet people who share the same kind of beliefs and values. That's what's really interesting as well. And so I think, that's been really nice. And the vision and planning day that we did in July was really shifted something for me in terms of planning. And it was, I think you hold stuff with a really light touch, which is lovely, but well. So it doesn't feel that we're being told what to do. It's coming from us in a way, but it's gently guided and held, and I've really enjoyed that. So that's been very beneficial.
Oh, that's great. That's really good to hear. And if so if someone was watching this who maybe comes from your kind of background, maybe as a practitioner or an academic background, and they were unsure about joining, I don't know, what would you say to them?
I would say join. I would, with that hesitation, because I think what's interesting, I think when you come from a kind of applied ethos, and I've been inspired by the work of Paulo Freire, Augusto Boal, and also then Carl Rogers' Freedom to Learn, and various kind of education, John Dewey and stuff like that. And just that kind of, sometimes an academic network isn't always as as, how would I say, generous or supportive as it could be in some ways because of the nature of the industry and that kind of field. So it's a different kind of support in a way, whereas this, I feel people, even, and academia can be lonely in a similar way, but different way. So I think with this, I think what it does, I was talking to a friend about this yesterday who's also an applied practitioner. And I was like, what it does is it gives you that space to reflect and think on your work in a really non-judgmental, non-pressured way. And you don't get that opportunity as much in, I think, in an academic network, because everyone's putting forward papers and different things and research. It's a different way. You're kind of almost, I don't know, just trying to prove that you have knowledge and you're an expert and you're in this, that, and the other. And this is different. It's not about, we're not coming in when we have maybe a group supervision or a group chat, like the book club I love as well. No one's trying to say I'm an expert in this or here's what I think. It's all, here's maybe some of my experience, here's some of this or whatever. And we're just sharing and kind of bouncing off each other, which I really like.
Yeah. No, that's great.
Yeah. And the book club is lovely.
The book club is great. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. Because you read those books sometimes and you go, God, I'd love to, chat with them, but they're not your average book club kind of a book. So it's been, I've loved that as well. Yeah, nice.
It's been interesting, kind of just encouraging people to sort of look in a different way at some of the ways in which we maybe previously academically theorized things, and there's certain languages that we've got used to using, and so it's quite interesting trying to get people to just kind of see things in a different way. And that does it opens up more, I think.
I'm not sure how heart-centered academia is in some ways, with the best will in the world intentions, but it's a different kind of it's a different area. But I think anyone working in the applied kind of arts or facilitating projects, anyone involved in education as well, it's very useful kind of to think about, what is education? How are we educating people? How are we showing up? And you use a phrase quite a bit, which I've been enjoying, is the what can you lean into? And that's quite a nice kind of way of approaching something a little bit. It's quite gentle and it's quite nice. Yeah,
that's great. Well, thanks for sharing some feedback on Thriving Facilitators, because it's nice to hear that, because I hadn't, sometimes you just set these things up and you just kind of in it, aren't you? And you don't kind of get to talk about, we don't have time to talk about that. So that's been really nice for me to hear. So thank you very much, Helena. And I realised I've been pronouncing your name wrong for the last 4 months.
You and most of the people in England.
I apologise on air.
That's no problem. Honestly, it's fine. But it's lovely. It's I look forward to our sessions with the group, and and as I said, meeting lots of different people around has been really interesting, kind of, and hearing about work and concerns and stuff like that. Yeah.
What do you think about, just finally, about the kind of price point of Thriving Facilitators? So I think it works out about, depending on if you pay for the year or the month, it's about between £6 and £7 a week.
Yeah,
I know it's always a bit of a risk for people to kind of financially invest in something. But I don't know. Was that a big leap for you to do that?
Yes and no. For it is always that moment. £28 a month, is that like just another gym membership that is going to go not be used, or whatever and stuff. And then I thought, for me, I was a smoker till this time last year. So I was spending I was burning a lot more paper and money in that sense. And then I thought, 28. I think I'm paying £28 a month or something around that. Yeah, so £7
a little bit more this time. It's gone up. It's £32.
Yeah, but,
yeah.
It's I'd buy a cup of coffee a day without thinking about it, and that doesn't really have as much benefit as this. And it's not a massive, for me, it's at the moment where I am, it's not a massive investment for me. And I think I'm getting a lot out of it. And yeah, I think it's worth it. I do. I have to say, I think it's been very worth it. And it's what you prioritize, isn't it? And I think, for me at the moment, it's about that personal growth, self-development, and being supported, and meeting like-minded people. So that sort of thing, in a way, is priceless, kind of. So it's a nice investment.
Yeah, it's definitely something. Well, in the last 2 years or 3 years that I've been trained as a coach, I have invested a lot in my own support. And I think it was quite hard for me to think about that at the beginning, but now it's just so important, isn't it? So
yeah, it is. And I think before, when I was even training in kinesiology, and just before that, someone mentioned to me about supervision quite a bit, and I was thinking, oh, can I really afford, but can I afford to pay for supervision? Do I really need it? I'm getting on fine. But actually, when you step back a little bit and go, actually, I don't have any support in some of this area. And I'm worth, getting that support for myself, because that, working, I guess, with students or even in applied, we're constantly supporting people, and we're constantly advising people to avail of support, and then we don't get it ourselves. So I think you owe yourself that, and you owe the people you work with to be supported, and to have that space for yourself as well.
Right. Okay. Well, that was really nice. Thank you for coming and speaking about your Thriving Facilitators and your work. And we shall end the broadcast now. So I will see you. I'll see you next week, probably in one of our sessions.
Perfect.
Oh, next week it's we're looking at vicarious resilience next week.
Oh, lovely. Love it. Yeah, that would be good fun. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's been lovely. Great.
Okay. So
good evening.
You have a good evening too.
Bye. All right. Bye.